that can't fix it, you're screwed. Welcome to the DIY.Pat's channel. As you can see, our bedroom gets very light. So I always wake up so early because it goes daylight outside. So I bought this track, which is supposed to be one that you can bend over your knee and everything like that. Aluminium one, so it's got aluminium rails and a plastic inner. And it has these little runners. That's going to be for our blackout curtains that we're going to get ourselves. So I'm going to do a video of installing those and work my way through doing that. Not sure how it's going to go, but I'm hoping to do it. So this is the windowsill. I didn't make YouTube when I done all this, which would have been really good like. But you can see here, it goes in, dives into the wall. So idea is the track's going to come on here, go straight, follow along here, like that, all the way around, and then dive back in here again at the wall. So I have on both sides like a short section going into it. So the windowsill has already got that, what I've done, and see this here lines up with that, and it lines up here on that line there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have this sitting back there like that kind of thing. Oh, hold down there, you can see it, that kind of sitting on there, because we want to, ideally I want that in front of it. That's where I want to hang. But then when I come across here, I might have to set the laser up. I might be able to get that so it follows along here, because it'd be good if it followed the windowsill rather than sitting on the windowsill if it dropped down to, because I'm going to put my alarm clock onto there if I wanted to. Those are bedside cabinets that I made once. You probably see it with this one over here better if I come around there quickly. So you can see these here, they sit quite nicely like that. So they hang up on the wall. So what I'm going to do is get myself set up with tools and get started. So just to show you, I'm working at home. This all here still needs doing. Because I went up to my son's house, after, never even finished ours. But you can see here, this is going to need plastering, that ceiling needs doing. Something around there, they need closing, down the bathroom side there needs doing. So that's going to be, this paneling needs finishing because I've done it so far up, the paneling, and then I've made all these panels up so they're like that. They sit in there. Over here, what I've done on some of them, I've already put primer onto them once. Back there, that needs better. Now where plastering's much better, that's going to get something onto it. All this here, everything's going to need plastering. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to put this mat into it, because I used that before. That mat is really handy. It will stop anything like these cracks that reappear, when they sit on old houses. This here at the top, because this here takes downstairs to our downstairs toilet. Sits there behind doors. You can see with the grandkids, because this has only got primer onto it, not finished paint. There you can see one of the panels into it. We ordered new doors. They're going to come. So this summer, this is getting sorted, because the house is nearly finished now in my son's. Up there, I don't know what I'm doing here yet, but I'll make a decision on that when I get to it. Don't know if to go flat or curve. Probably go flat, because it'll look better onto that. But we're going to get onto getting the blackout curtain rail put up. Okay, so I've set the laser up, because that's going to be the easiest one with the laser going like that. So I've set the laser up so it falls up here, the green laser, so it sits here on the wall, on the ceiling up to here. So that's going to be my point coming along here, and then I'll go backwards like that. So what I'm going to do is, using this piece of MDF here, but we're going to place it on top of the windowsill. Take the air purifier down. That works really well, by the way, if you got hay fever. I'm going to keep that as an even distance coming off, mark the underneath. That should give me the angle up there, and then what I'll do is I'll cut this out, make myself a bit of a clamping and forming jig. Because online it says to bend that over your knee. And I don't really fancy bending this over my knee, especially the way my knees are. I think doing that, it does move quite easily, because these rails move on it, so it does move quite easily. This here, That was actually aluminium. Is it aluminium? I thought it was plastic. No, it's a plastic piece. That plastic piece bends fairly easily. The aluminium is going to have to be bent in 2 different ways. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend them and try and slide the rail over them so the rail slides 50-50. I have to work because it comes with joint pieces and everything like that. So there's a whole selection of components in here. These are the jointing rails. So I can join them obviously on a straight but not around a bend. So I'm going to try not have, every bend is going to be a solid piece and then joins on the straight runs. There's the end pieces, and these are the clips that fix it to the ceiling. So fix it very shallow and hidden away to the ceiling, which is quite good. That sits on top of this here, so that clips into it. So the fixing. Okay, so gonna get on with that then. Mark some stuff out. So I scribed this here, this line on. I'm gonna go and cut that now, and I'll have holes either side. Give me somewhere to put a clamp onto it and pull things in and squeeze things in. Probably bending it that way so it's gentle, that bend, because I think that's what's going to be the mark for it, sort of thing. And what I'll do is, if I set you up like this here, yeah, you should be able to see. So what I'm going to do is I'll take a measure off here, measure like that, just like as a rough measurement. So if I do this here, these sections are 800 long. What's this one? Yeah, they're 800 long, the sections. So you can see, I don't know, I'm just going to lose my bend. I ideally want to have something like that. Maybe have a joint here. That can be one piece coming across here. That's one piece coming across here. And this piece, the offcut from that one should make the other side. I did get it long enough, so that's the length. We got a right length for it and everything like that. So we're gonna have to work out how that goes. I'm gonna go downstairs and cut that first using the jigsaw outside. So what I'm doing is I'm using the laser and some tape to mark on the ceiling where I want to have the front edge of it, and I've cut this here now. You can see that's just a jigsaw cut, but that's every angle is this here, because that's how I made the windowsill. I have that same angle going all the way across. That's going to give me something for bending on and trying to get that shaped into piece. So I'm going to do that. Move the laser around like that to get intersecting points and everything drawn onto it, and get a front edge drawn onto it, because it's going to be the easiest thing to do that with the laser, setting that way up. So what I'll do is let's move them onto the floor. So what I'll do now is just turn my laser around, line up with my front edge of the windowsill there. So just so it kisses that low bull nose that's on there. Then what I'm going to do is put myself a piece of tape on there. And then you can see there the green lasers marked on the ceiling. That's a really good thing about this. Actually, what I'll do is I'll set this up. I have to put something underneath there because I got the light on the camera on as well today. So I'm going to bring it around so you can see. Set it onto there. Going to get my laser line to come on my intersecting point. It's on the window now, comes up, and there it creates on the ceiling now a crosshair for me. So what I'll do is on there, I'll put some tape onto it. That's the point where it meets. And I'll turn this one around. Laser this way now. Have to have a piece that sits onto here. Put my line onto it. I can borrow this one back here. Put a line onto it. So I do that as the forward one. On the intersecting one, so I know where they go, because I need all these for measuring after. Move on to my next one, line it up, lined up on the front edge, lined up on the back edge. Don't block your own light out. Put that on top of there. There's my crosshair. Turn my laser. I'm hoping that it just goes as easy bending this rail, because that's my biggest worry, is the bending of the rail. Do that, that's my line coming through this way for those marks. Come back here. Line that up, lines up with here, lines up with there, comes up, oh, nearly falls onto this tape. That's so close. That's the bend. Then turn it. I'll put a piece back here so I can just mark it for my straight coming through. Straight coming through. Now I need to work out where I'm going to have it on my windowsill. Ideally I wanted to die off here. How far is it over there on that side? Can I see? No. No, let's get the laser on both sides the same distance. So that sits there. I think I better get a tape measure on there. So you can see me back here. It's a tape measure. 35 there. Got 35 there. Or do I go right on the edge with that track when it sits there? So take the track right on there, the track. So have it like that. Then like that. It may be better. It may be better. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll set the track right on the edge. If the window sits there 20 mil back, it's right on the edge there, that'll be fine. So, put a bit of tape up there so I've got a mark to go to. And I'll put a bit of tape here somewhere because we're going to have an intersecting point somewhere. Tape back here so I know I'm going in there, and then tape around here somewhere because we're going to have an intersecting point here, because our angle needs to be at that window ledge and there. So that point it needs to come to. Let's put double tape on there so I can actually see it. So that is the intersecting part for it. Let's go and do some. Let's do this on the other side. Oh, you're going to be blocked out there, so turn the camera off. So what I've done is I've lined the laser up with the trim of the window down the middle. See where my blinds are, and that comes out, and that's going to be the bending point. It's really good for that. And then what I'll do is I'll work that way around as well. But see, I've got like a line comes down here, meets there, goes on to that one, goes on, you know, and it goes from here. Goes from here. This one, so I'll put an arrow onto it. So it goes from here to that one, and then I'm going to have the game. So again, intersecting point, intersecting point, intersecting point, and back into a corner. So I'm going to mark all them out. I won't put these on a time lapse or something like that. I just do them as I go along like that, because it doesn't take very long. So here we are. If I take that, hold that to there, that's kind of the angle that I want to bend it into, like that, because that'd be my next piece straight going into it. So if you look at this here, that's just bending it by hand, putting it in there. So that's probably going to have to do with shallow bends like that when I said that. Let's put a bit of aluminium into the rail. Actually, it bends the other way. It doesn't bend on that short, it bends on the longest section like that. So it's going to go into that point. So what I'll do is I'll mark myself here a point where to line it up into. I go halfway with the aluminium because that gives me a halfway point to put it into then. I wonder if to turn it upside down and bend it that way. Yeah. So if I do, let's say halfway, which is to there, I need to put, okay, so I turned it around. So I'm going to put the mark on this side. That's my mark, that's my center. Coming onto here, putting some bend on the aluminium. Going to be some bending. So now they say bend that over your knee. No way you bend that over your knee. Let's have a look at that now. That looks more like it. So what I'll do is I'll put my next piece into here. I keep going off camera with that. So my next piece slides into there. I'll line it up with the two. So it's got that bending point there. But it's typical if you run it on the outside, the inside, those points fall into different places. And they will fall into different places because the nature of it being a trim. I think what I need to do is I need to put the next piece of trim into it. So I get that. Okay. The next track into it. So move that camera a bit further back. Pick this up. Slide this into it now. Well, I can measure the length of that. I was going with that from the center to this point. So if I put that piece in there, slide it on there, slide it into there, push up to where they meet, bring it around. Careful I don't knock my camera out now while I'm doing this. That is the point for my bend. So if I put a clamp onto here, slowly start bringing that around to that point. Get my second clamp onto the actual bend. Start bringing it in. Yeah, that's going to be my curve. I'm going to have to do a shallower curve than what I've got on my parts. That's it. So, see, that's staying there now. So give that a little bit of time to rest. And good thing is doing this on the windowsill is I'm keeping it flat. So I'm flat in this and in that elevation. That's going to be the hard thing. See how much bounce back that is. There's a fair amount of bounce back, so I will take it this way, the way it said. Give it a little bit extra. But there we go. We're getting closer into it now. A bit there. Well, oh, look at that. Huh. Do you know what it's like? It's like bending copper pipe. You need to just over bend it slightly to get it in. So you can see there, that's bent into it now. So I need to work out the next length this way and that way. So this is the part that sits from, it sits from here. From there to the middle, and then the next piece goes around it. This comes down, so this gets a bend on it here now, going back this way for that one before it goes back that way. Okay, so I've bent it back up onto this one for the opposite side. So what you've got is that there coming around, and now it goes that way. Okay, there'll be a bend back at this point here again, like on the other side, going back in, just the same as I've done over there, and next piece is onto it. That's going pretty well. Like that. So this is how I've been bending it. I've been clamping it on the flat first, and then pulling it in towards my internal corner there. That's the easiest way to do it. And see, I'm trying to keep it so it's nice and flat on the windowsill as well, ensuring that straight away at the same time, because that's going to be the awkward thing. Keep it, you know, but when I get to screw on the ceiling, hopefully it's going to look all right doing that. So let me see on top of there, so you can see me a little bit there. So see, if I unclamp this now, unclamp that side first, I can feel there's still a bit of, oh, see that much tension on the camera fell over. So what I'll do is I'll pick that up and give that a little bit of a tweak into it, and I'll check it with the other side then. Oh my God. Bit of a sweat on. You know what? The bending of those were easy, but the bending of this is quite difficult when it goes shallow. So I'm going to have to really work out how I'm going to trim that down to the correct length. This one needs a bit more of a bend on it, and then needs squaring up on the end. It's really breathtaking, that, but you know, it's looking good. I didn't film anything because it's really awkward to film and bend at the same time. But I literally just bent this using that jig thing I made up with clamps. I did show it earlier on when I clamped it on there once, but you know, it's just like literally pushing these, and I was making sure that these miters, you know, so see, pushing these back together again, so shoving them in place and everything like that to get that neatly trimmed off, and it's going to hang up there on the ceiling. So these are the little carriages. They all sit onto the end like this, so that what they do is they slide in and they just go down the track. So I'm going to feed all these on. So I feed them all on, I can then put the end cap on this side, trim down the second side, and then it's going to be probably a two-person job, so I won't be filming because Mrs. DIY doesn't like being on the camera. But you know, I need to get them sort of in there like that. Oh, just realised one of the rollers hasn't got a hook. Wonder if it's fell off in the bag. I need to check. That's something you don't check on this. This is funny. I ordered this on Amazon. It's come from China via Turkey, and it had a bamboo stick inside of it to hold it straight. The packaging looked really weird when it came, but it was well packed. It's an aluminium track, the outers. So this is plastic. These are aluminium. I've just been cutting with a junior hacksaw, so they cut nice and easy. If I'm short one of these hooks, I've got loads of end caps. I can always take one off there and put it on, so I put that carrier on there anyway, because I really need that on there. So this little end cap has got like a T-bolt inside, so it's in like that, and like that, and that just gets screwed on. So I'll screw that side on, I'm going to hold it back up, and I'll put it back on. That this piece here is actually knocking it out, because it pushes the track apart. It's not actually being beneficial at all. So I'm going to take this off and see if that's actually any better without this being on. Because what's happening is that the little pieces are falling out of the trolley. So pull that apart. Sorry, the camera just fell over. So pull that apart. Undo this one. I want to see if that's... Because what it's doing is it's spreading the track open. And where it's spread open, let's see if they come back and fall out. See, now they don't fall out. Earlier on, when I'm putting that on top, they're falling apart. So I'm going to have to go without this bracket, because that bracket is just making all these fall off. All these fall off. We can't have that. It's going to be an impossible. So, cut that end off now. So, I've bought Duo Pro Fisher fixings, because I think these are going to be the best ones for doing this. So what I've done is I marked on the ceiling where I'm going to have it. That's where it's going to sit in. So what I'm going to do is tap that in. Peel my tape off. Oops, God. Took paint with it. Oh no. Be careful pulling this. Careful pulling that off. And then I'm going to do my other hole on the other side. I'm putting a box underneath to catch it on. I will turn the camera this way around so you can see. There is my mark. And drill a 6mm hole. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put these two middle ones up, and then I'll work my way along, getting all the others up. There we go, that's in the ceiling there. So, let's get ourselves a screw. Now it says about the screws, it says about these, what it says to do is, it says to have it's 30 mils. So you want to use number 4 screws. And what I'm going to do is, probably going to go with a 4x40 or something like that, because a 4x50 is going to be massive. So 4x40, get this, come across here, going to screw that first piece up. Hope that goes back. See you back here. Sorry that you're on an angle, but I've got the light attached underside, but an overcast day today. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Put the screw through, come around, go into there. Oh, I threw up one more. It's holding on there. Good for the magnetic. Ah, dropped it again. Now I'll just get that in a second. Pick it up again. Magnetic. Pick it up and drop it. Why don't you? Let's hope that holds on there. It holds. Get that. Through there. Lined up to there. What I do is I go one way and then I go the other way. So I will get this side here fixed first and then I go the other way, but you can see that gives like an even gap going down. So I'm gonna have to turn off because it's gonna be very difficult to film. Here comes the outro. Here's my tea and the curtain track is up. I'll show you. To one end and back to the other end. On the back here, you see it's slightly tight here on this bend, but I'm pretty okay with that because these curtains here are going to be fixed in that section, and then it would just slide like that. Bingo. And that is securely up there. Hope you liked it. I'll put a link down to where the track come from. If anybody's interested, it's easy to fit. You just bend it. I made a jig, like I said, and bent it around. And you can see there, all the way along. A nice curtain rail. And then the curtain is going to sit like that. You can have it running against the ceiling. So it sits tight up there. That's what we're going to do. That's why I kept it back there a bit and kept it back there on the side. Hope you enjoyed that. And thanks for watching. One question I'm going to put out there. This here. Oh, that's going to be something to fix. Because you know what? I've got that crack there. When we moved in, I just, didn't really fill it back just to watch it. And on this side here, where there's no cracks appearing in here, because that's dot and dab that wall. There, I'm not sure behind here, I'll see that in the summer when I take it off, but this crack has always been down the edge of the door frame. That hasn't shifted, that's been like that since we moved into the house. This one over here, that happened when I done the bathroom, so that's only because they patched this in. There used to be a doorway through that, but this is all going to get sorted. So I need to work out, it's an old house. So you got a crack there, that's a crack because this is a plasterboard wall, but I'm going to fix all that with the webbing when I put that on, same as this one here, because I left that old wall up there because this here is a pocket door that sits inside there, but we've got new doors coming